Hey everyone, I'm your host Roddy Merritt.
And I'm Cody Russell.
And welcome to the Spaceman Podcast presented by Merritt Productions. If you've ever wondered what really goes on behind the scenes of Merritt Productions, Mississippi's fastest growing production company and marketing agency, well, this is where we tell it all.
From creative strategy to cutting edge content, from high profile campaigns to the late night grind, this podcast is your all access pass to the world of Merritt Productions. We're talking stories, challenges, wins, and everything in between. The work, the people, the passion, this is how we make it happen.
Whether you're in the industry, on the grind, or just curious about what it takes to build a powerhouse brand, welcome to the Spaceman Podcast.
What's up, guys? Roddy here.
Hey, this is Cody.
And welcome back to the Spaceman Podcast. We have some I'm not going to call y'all special guests. I'm going to call y'all friends because I feel like we're past the professional point. We're friends now. Tiffany and Lee from Fit Squad are here. We're gonna have this is probably going to be a fun episode. For
I'm already having a good time based off of that.
Tiffany's playing with a microphone over there. Whoops. So, I usually lead off with a story of how I meet people or how I've met people. But you guys are a little different than other people that I've met. First and foremost, I have a huge heart for veterans. I've always wanted to find ways to help veterans out. And I think the first time that I'd heard about you guys locally, but the first time I had actually seen the two of you was at a B&I group locally. People don't know what B&I is, Business Networking International. It's a group of business owners that meet up and talk about their business and give referrals. And Tiffany now, we go to a B&I group together. But I'd seen you guys there, and I wanted to figure out how to get more involved with you. And then later on down the road, I saw you guys at an air show.
Yeah, the red, white, and blue in Tallulah Airport. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because I'm in the commemorative Air Force, and I was like, oh, they're a veteran group. We need to get them involved with our car show. And so I come up. I think I met you guys. I think I gave you a flyer or something like that about our show coming up or whatever. I think y'all had something going on. I can't remember. And then my friend Anjanice, she used to host a car show called Vets for Vets. And y'all set a booth up there. I saw you again. We talked about getting you at Hangar Hangover. And then after that, did get you at Hangar Hangover because I got connected with Waze Energy. And then Waze, we started doing some of their media for them. And you guys were helping out and a part of a golf tournament, Castle Woods Golf Course. And that's where we really got to meet then. Lee got to speak on camera, that sort of thing. And after that, you guys came to Hangar Hangover, and then you contacted us and was like, hey, we've got an event coming up in December called Ruck for Rugrats, and wanted us to shoot that. And I was so excited, and I got sick and got the flu.
Did he get the flu, or did he not want to walk 4.5 miles?
No, I was sick.
I don't know if he was ready for 4.5 miles.
I was literally sick. I was so mad. Like, I tried to get better, but I was sick. And so then after that, Luke from Waze was like, hey, you should really think about working with Fit Squad. And I was like, yeah, I want to. And he's like, no, I think you should like sponsor them and like help them with their media for free. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I remember that. I have a funny story to tell about that.
I was like, well, I've been kind of thinking about ways that I could do that. And then he was like, I just want you to think about it. He's like, I don't have no dog, in this race. And I was like, I understand. And, I just told him, it's like, I got 3 guys in my office. I got to make sure those guys eat, I got to be careful. And he was like, well, he said, I'm not going to twist your arm about it. So I thought about it, kind of prayed about it or whatever, and was like, I've always wanted a way to help veterans. I was like, this is how it is. So I contacted Lee, and I told Lee, I said, hey, here's what I want to do. And Lee was like, what do you want from us? And all I said was, I want your influence. That's all I said. I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea what that influence would look like. I had no idea what you guys, like the power behind you guys. We'll probably talk about that a little bit, but I've been more than like blown away about your community is so strong with what it does. So we'll get Cody to talk about for Rugrats since I didn't get to go. He can talk about how cool that was. But I want you guys to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do for the company, what the company is, et cetera, et cetera. So go ahead.
Yeah. So first, thank you. Obviously, I could thank y'all a million times over for all the different things we've done together so far. But I'm Lee Stringer. I'm the one of the first 4 co-founders of Fifth Squad, and I have been serving in the military for almost 25 years now. Some active duty, most of it have worked full time for the Mississippi Army National Guard. Mm-hmm. And in 2016, myself and 3 other guys decided to come up with the idea of Fifth Squad. And we can get into that more later, but that's kind of who I am. Tiffany is my wife.
Yes.
Lucky me.
I'm Tiffany Stringer. I'm Lee's wife and the only employee of Fifth Squad. I left the legal field in 23 and came on board with Fifth Squad because we needed a full-time employee to put more everyday energy into serving our veterans. So I've been the only employee of Fifth Squad since 2023.
Nice. And the reason we got Tiffany is because our primary program is what we call a quick reaction funds. It's a QRF, and we pay bills immediately. And with everybody being a fully volunteer nonprofit, you have to step away from your actual bill paying job to pay a bill for somebody else. And sometimes that's not as easy as just doing that, And we had grown so much that in 2022, myself, Ronnie, who is our treasurer, and Pete, who is one of our former members at the time, we went on to a nonprofit conference, and we're sitting there with like Red Cross and American Heart Association and all these other, huge nonprofits, and they're like, "Well, how many employees do you guys have?" And we're looking at each other, we're like, 0. And they're like, "Well, that's amazing that y'all are doing what you're doing, but you're never going to get past a certain level unless you take that leap of faith, for lack of better terms, and hire somebody." So we threw the idea out there, and we were like, "Look, I mean, we could hire some kid right out of college or something and pay them peanuts and hope that they have the energy and the passion to serve a veteran like we do. Mm-hmm. Or we could take a chance with somebody that's already connected to the organization, with Tiffany, pay her peanuts, and now you get 2 employees for the price of, for one, right?" And so Tiffany and I prayed about it a lot because, it was a big undertaking because she took a huge pay cut to come work for Fifth Squad, something that she had never done before. I mean, before meeting me, all she knew about was veterans was something she saw on the news, and it was probably like 12 Strong or something, and she thought everybody looked like Chris Hemsworth. And clearly,
What? I'm just saying.
Clearly they don't, We're all shapes and sizes. But anyway, so she has done that, and since then, our organization has just gone through the roof. I mean, we went from 1 program to now 6. And before you talk about the Rugrats, after that, you had sent me like a package. Like, because I told you, I was like, "Hey, man, we're a nonprofit." Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, I was like, "Man, we're a nonprofit, and we want every penny that we can get to go back into serving veterans." And you didn't send anything that I thought it was extremely reasonable. And I even approached the guys with it. I was like, "Man, I mean, we can swing this. I mean, it's not anything, terrible." But then we were like, "You know what? I mean, we have iPhones. We have Samsungs. We could take pictures." Not little did we know that they were not quite the same. But then that's when you come back and you were like, "Hey, just the influence." And I hope that we have helped that. I feel like we have, because every time we talk to somebody, and really we're not doing anything. Honest to God, people are contacting us about media because they see our media. Yeah. So really, y'all are making your own money. All I'm doing is just telling them who made the actual video. Yeah. Or who takes the picture. So you guys are the ones that are doing it, not us. Yeah. So thank y'all.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Tiffany, but I want you to give your morning BNI 30-second pitch of what is Fifth Squad.
Oh yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah. Well, it changes a lot, but Okay, let me get in B&I mode then. Let's see. Tiffany Stranger with Fisqua. We're a veteran nonprofit that assists veterans with what we consider life-sustaining needs, rent, utilities, groceries. That's our main mission and the main program we started with. Since then, we've grown into 6 other programs. And I try to usually tell about an event that we might have going on.
Yeah.
And which maybe the Veteran Day plug would be a good one now, since we have that one coming up. And then I say Tiffany Stringer with Fist Squad. You can't put me on the spot. I'm not good at that. I had to have time to think about it.
Yeah. But what's great about that is she's kind of bundled that in, because most people will be like, well, what is Fist Squad? It's pretty much that. One thing I was going to say is going back to the influence. So now everybody kind of knows that you are, nonprofit helping veterans, and kind of what that looks like for you guys. Because there's a lot of programs out there that help veterans, right? Some of them better than others, but the thing that sets you guys apart, you tell me if I'm wrong, I always tell people fact check me, but you guys are direct assistance, right?
Yeah, that's with our QRF, that is direct assistance. So we don't give any money to the veteran. We pay that bill directly. And we don't, like Tiffany mentioned, we don't pay cell phone bills or cable bills or anything like that. I mean, it's life-sustaining needs. Now, that might be those 3 primary categories, but we have also assisted outside of that too. I mean, if a guy's his sole job is being an Uber driver, then it would make sense that, and he has some maintenance issues with his vehicle, that you help him with that, So those are things. We've had homeless people that had nothing to their name, and all they asked for was a bike and a lock because their bike was stolen. And that's something that we've helped with. So
we've helped with storage rentals when if there was a homeless veteran and all their belongings were in a storage and they were about to lose all of their belongings. We've helped pay for that just so they could keep it until they found housing.
Yeah, and the reason we do the direct assist is because just because you're a veteran doesn't make you a saint. And as we know, a lot of veterans struggle with post-traumatic stress, and then with that comes substance abuse and all these other things. And if a veteran contacts us and they need some help with their groceries, we want to make sure that money goes to those groceries.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that what they're spending their money on is going to help their family and themselves, but I can guarantee that if we pay for those groceries or pay for that rent, that will be taken care of.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's good, because and I think that's another thing that kind of sets you apart from some of the other organizations out there. Is one, it's so hard to jump through so many hoops, right? I see it all the time, just in general with like the VA and stuff, like all the hoops you got to jump through and the regulations and this, that, and the other. But then at the same token, it's like, not talking about the VA, but some of the other programs that I know out there, I've seen them be really irresponsible, I guess, in how they issue those funds and who they give them to and how they give them and that sort of thing. So I think you're right. I think that there has to be some kind of responsibility of like, hey, yeah, we'll help you get some groceries, but we're not going to give you the money for the groceries, right?
Yeah. And it's one of the things too, you talked about how difficult it is. We don't require anything but that the veteran either completed their initial enlistment with an honorable discharge, or they were medically discharged, or they're currently serving. But it has to be with an honorable discharge, right? That's the only red tape we have. And you provide a copy of the bill, we pay the bill directly. But unfortunately, we hear, I can't tell you how many times we receive contact through our website or through email or third-party referral that, we're reaching out to you guys because everybody else has said no, and everybody keeps saying no and keeps saying no. And so we're proud to be able to be the one and not say no. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And I would go a step further, because it's something we've talked about, but talking about, Tiffany coming on board, being able to handle like some of the mundane things of, all the stuff that she does and with different stuff, but also you're on y'all's podcast that you're working on, I kind of heard where you talked about one of the good things about Tiffany is also she's like, you're super military, and like, you get the phone call and you handle it one way versus Tiffany's all sweet, nice, and I think sometimes that's also a little bit of a comfort, for people out there, that if you've never been in a situation where you couldn't get a bill paid and how stressful that was and that sort of thing, especially somebody that's dealing with some issues, it's probably nice to hear a sweet, kind voice over the phone versus.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, that's one of the reasons why our organization was the way it was in the beginning, because it was quick. I just need you to tell me what you need, and then we'll help it. You know, and that's not. I don't mean it to sound rude, but we have something called in the military we call bluff. It's called bottom line up front. Like, that's all I need to know. Just tell me these 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and let me pay that bill. But sometimes you got these veterans that they just need to talk to you about something.
Sure.
And we could talk, but it's not. I guess in that mind frame, I'm in that. You know, I'm in that soldier mind frame of like, hey, I need to get this done right now because I need to move on to that next target, right? Where Tiffany, you know, she wants to talk. They'll trade pictures of their puppies and talk about the mom and them and all this other kind of stuff. And
that's one thing I do love when I do get to talk to, you know, them a little bit more in depth about their situation. It's unfortunate, but I do like that part.
But I think that's what's helped us move into some of the other stuff that we're doing too. Like, we were contacted by the VA home in Collins, and we've worked with them before, but it was like, here's a donation of clothing or food for a party or whatever you're having, and we kind of move on. But now they're wanting us to come and host a bingo with all these veterans, and now she's going through the roof, like she's excited. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the strippers like it was on Landman, but I'm in full support of it, you know. We can swing up to Danny's real
Whichever
quick,
way.
load up the van and head down to Collins. You know, I think we'll be fine. I think they'll enjoy that. And we might not be invited back, but
that'd be one crazy bingo night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
But no, you're absolutely right. It's a different voice because you got a bunch of veterans. You got we talk to each other. We know how to talk to each other. And I can say, hey, man, the reason why you can't pay your bill is because you've got 15 other bills that you don't need. Mm-hmm. And then Tiffany can come at a different approach, like, hey, you know, maybe work on this and this and that, and you know, so you're absolutely right. It has changed so much stuff.
Mm-hmm. But there are times when I just can't handle some of them, and I'm like, Lee, you know, can you contact this veteran and talk to him, or I guess so, veteran to veteran, and he gets it across to him.
Well, yeah, that's the part that people don't realize too. We don't help every veteran, you know, and there's reasons why. Because like last week. We had one that he basically just got rude with her, you know, going back and forth like, no, you're going to help me. I don't have to send you anything because I'm a veteran. So then I called him, and his tone changed completely then, you know. But that has to be that way sometimes, you know, because I'm like, look, she handles 99% of them. But then when somebody just wants to get sideways, then I can get on there and they understand. Yeah. It don't matter what branch of service they are. They know what an E9 is. And they're like, okay, well, you know. You've done 25 years. I'm gonna shut up and be quiet for a little bit, you know, and then they understand. So that's just part of it. I mean, there's no occupation out there where everybody that does it is a great person, you know, or not. I'm not saying they're not great people. They're just people go through things, you know.
Just
we're going
tough
through
situations.
They're dealing with a struggle right now, and they're stressed out because of this or whatever. And sometimes you got to bring them back down to earth. Like, look, hey, just chill out for a second. We want to help. Just chill out. We're not like everybody else. We want to help. Let's do this together and quit being an asshole. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have that dynamic. Is you know, I'm like you. It's just like, all right, what do you want? How can I help you? What's your budget? You know, I'm just like, and that's just coming from the businessman standpoint. Yeah. It's like, you know, I've got 10,000 other things. Trying to be efficient. Yeah, just give me the stuff as quickly as I can. I'll put it together. We'll help you. And there's times where I'll go, Cody, can you go talk to that lady? Because I don't want to make her mad. Yeah. Because there has been times where, like, I've come across real upfront and blunt, and some people don't like that. It makes them feel uneasy versus he can go talk to them, and then all of a sudden they love us, and they're our best friend, and they're texting me and this, that, and the other. And so it's good, I think, that because there are times, too, where some people have been rude to him, and I'm like, no, let me cut that off real quick. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I had a conversation with a guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, loves us and everything's hunky dory. It's just that I think that's kind of the way it works. It's still a business, and I think people forget about that. You know, they think, you're a nonprofit and you're just supposed to give to everybody and this, that, and the other. But there's a business behind it too.
Absolutely, you got to build your brand. But you know, AC, y'all know Josh AC. He's one of our prospects. Yeah,
he's awesome.
Great guy, man. He has a lot of passion. Veteran. He sat down with me, and I've heard people tell me before in the past, but just the way he told me, you know, he was like, man, you've built a team, and everybody has their strengths, and I take that to heart because I don't think that Fifth Squad needs to be made up of all outgoing, outspoken type folks.
Right.
You know what I mean? You need different people because
you need balance.
Exactly, you need people that are going to be up there on the microphone, but you also need people that are going to tote some boxes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to work behind the scenes, and that's exactly the way we look at it. Like John, for instance, John is a perfect combination, I believe, with me and him as the president and vice president because. John he's proud of being an asshole. I mean, he loves it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so many people want to be his friend. Like one of the jokes that we always joke about John is that he has to delete someone on Facebook to add somebody else because he's maxed out because everybody wants to be his friend, right? But at the same time, he has no problem. Sometimes I have to tell him to draw it back some. Well, then you got me, and then Tiffany. I don't think she's ever. She was mean to me one time, but other than that, that's about it.
I don't recall.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and speaking of your team and influence, I kind of touched on that a little bit, but and you can chime in on this too because I know you see it as well. It's always funny. From our standpoint, what we do, we put something out on social. Everything that you're doing media-wise, you want the most attention, and you want to grab the biggest audience, and you want, when you put it on social, you want to see the likes and the comments and the shares and things like that. Never fails. A Fifth Squad post goes out for us or one of our clients. Fifth Squad post goes out, blows up. I mean, not just a little bit. Like it's a massive difference, right? And going back to what we were talking about, whenever I told you that, I said I just want your influence because I knew you guys you've got good sponsors, you've got a good program, you've got a lot of eyes on you, a lot of people know you, especially local. I was like, okay, this could be good for us. People seen us work with them, maybe people get interested or whatever. I didn't expect the team part of it. I didn't expect how committed that your team is. That if somebody inside your organization is involved, it's getting shared, and not just one or two people. It's not just one or two people. It's everybody. Some of your quietest people are the loudest on social because they're sharing, they're commenting, they're liking, they're paying attention, and I'm just like, wow,
yeah,
that's cool to see the community that you built and how well that support is. And for me, that was an adverse effect of like, oh, I want that because I love that kind of relationship community thing. It's very attractive for people that don't know really truly what you're doing. I know it's great to help veterans and to give money and pay for stuff or whatever, but that community side of it, you can see it, and then you start learning and meeting these guys and hearing their story and what they went through, and it's just like, holy crap. And then but to see them all like hanging out and just being normal guys and girls, it's really neat. It's more, to me, that's more rewarding than seeing you guys like give out, money to people.
Yeah.
Is to see like there's a healing aspect in that because everybody is happy and they're having a good time and there's no drama and there's no fighting and it's just like, oh, that's nice.
It's funny you say that. When we first started Fifth Squad, it started with this club mentality, right? Like just some brothers, families that we already knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we started to grow, we kind of slid away from the club and we kind of went towards the nonprofit business type side, right? And then since then, where we have really blown up is we went back to that family, that club type. Brent, for example, he's our secretary. He reached out to us on social media years ago. I think it was 2020. 2020, yep. It was right after the 2019 Ruck Programs when several of us come back from on our last deployment. And he just said, hey, I saw you guys. I'd like to come hang out one night. And y'all met Brent. Mm-hmm. He's a chatty Cathy, right?
Yeah.
So he comes to us. Exactly. Not at all.
No, he's the one I was referring to
exactly.
as well. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, if there's some kind of post, whether it's from Waze, it's from us, it's from y'all, whoever, he's gonna share it. If it's got anything to do with Fifth Squad, he has drank the Kool-Aid, but he not getting it past it.
No, it becomes part of your identity. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. A lot of us have a Fifth Squad tattoo, But Brent reached out and he came to a cigar event at Hops and Habanas that used to be in the Fondren. We used to love that place. But Brent sat there, and I think outside of introducing himself as Brent, that's probably the only words he said all night.
I've never heard him say anything.
and then he sent us a message after that. He said, "Hey, I'd like to be a member." And so, other nonprofits, other organizations, I don't know how they run their organizations,
Right.
but I know how we do ours. And you can't just become a member of Fifth Squad. You can be an associate member or an ambassador or something like that, but you can't just become a patch-wearing member unless you do prospect time. And I know that sounds silly. We kind of have mixed some motorcycle club mentality with military and nonprofit all in one, right? Because we're not trying to create something that has already been created. We're trying to create something different because the other stuff ain't working. And the reason we do that is because if Brent wants to be a part of this organization, then I need to know Brent's wife. I need to know Brent's kids.
That's a good point.
I need to know Brent's heart, because just like you guys, this ain't just a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 type gig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This has to be your heart, because there's going to be a lot of times where you have to do something when you don't feel like doing it, because you're doing it for a bigger cause. And that's the way we are now. I mean, we have grown tremendously, and we've lost some people too, because people thought that, hey, this is what I want to do, and then they go through a different season in their life, and now they don't want to do it anymore. And we don't have any ill will towards that. I mean, we understand.
Yeah.
But if something like this, you're creating a family. You're not just creating a nonprofit. If Fifth Squad's name went away one day, it won't. Not in my lifetime. But if something was to ever happen and it went away, those people, those board members, and those families and those children will always know. Like, I see you see the TikToks and the memes and the GIFs and all this, or not, on Instagram and all this stuff, kind of stuff about talking about, well, if my dad's not here, I don't have anything to worry about, because my dad's got all these brothers that are going to do what he does. And that's exactly what we are with Fifth Squad. If my kids need anything, they can call Uncle John, they can call Uncle Juju, they can call Uncle Mike, Uncle Trey, Uncle Brent, Uncle Ronnie. I mean, I can go down a list, you know what I mean? Because they know they've got all of it. Like, today's my son's 16th birthday. Every one of them have texted him today, and he's on cloud nine right now, because he's got all of these different people that they may not have the same blood as him, but he calls them all aunt and uncle. You know? So that's pretty awesome.
That is cool.
It's one of my proudest parts of being a member of Fifth Squad.
Yeah. So I want to transition from that over to really our first real true involvement with you guys. Unfortunately, I was not there. So
He
sad.
was sick.
He was
I
sick.
was. I
Every
really
sequel
was.
Never let that
I
one
really,
go, huh?
I really like I was trying. I was like, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can get better, and I just couldn't. Like, I just couldn't. I had the flu.
It's okay, man.
And,
People get sick. Trey was sick one time, but it was Fireball the night before.
No, that was not
different
it.
kind of
I wish there was. I wish there was something more fun related to it, but I only usually get sick about once a year, and that just happened to be the same weekend. But I want you to talk about Cody. I want you to talk about Rogue for Rugrats. That was the first time. That was almost, well, gosh, it felt like a long time, but that was just
December.
It was just December.
December,
Yeah, that's right.
So
I think before I get into it, I'd kind of like for you to explain it to everybody else.
Exactly
what
it is.
Rogue for
absolutely.
Rugrats is. That way my story makes sense.
Yeah, so in 2016, I mentioned that's when we founded our organization. We didn't have a 501c3 or anything like that at the time. And we were, Pete, I mentioned him earlier, he's one of our former members, but he had come from Boston. Him and I had served together from active duty from 2000 2004. He ended up moving to Mississippi in 2014 because of our friendship and brotherhood and that type of thing, right? Well, they did something. They just did a RUC for their children's hospital in Boston. But it was the military that ran it, And he was like, maybe we could do something like that. And we all were fathers. We had kids that had, my son, Deacon, the one I just mentioned, had spent some time at the time, Larry Batson. And we were like, well, let's just do something that military, we can do a RUC march. We can carry a bunch of toys. Kids love soldiers. They love toys, right?
Yeah.
And we were saying, well, we can't compare ourselves on a deployment and being away from home on Christmas to children being in the hospital and away from home on Christmas, but we understand not being able to,
Right.
And just because your child is in the hospital doesn't mean that you can take off work and spend months at a time or weeks at a time with them, but they have an incredible staff there. But we wanted to do something different. But we didn't want to just give toys. We wanted to do something physical with it. Like, we wanted to physically carry it. And nothing had been done like that for the Children's of Mississippi at the time. So we ruck march at the time 6 miles from actually where I work. We had about 30 people, and I think we brought about $6,000 worth of toys. And the next year we were like, okay, we're on to something here, you know. But it was storming. It was, you know, it's projected to storm that day, and I remember they called us and they're like, hey, you know, it's going to be bad weather. You know, we need to reschedule this. And we're like, no. They're like, well, Pete said, I remember he said if it rains, you know, we get a kayak. If it snows, we get snowshoes. You know, I mean, it don't matter. We're going to get there. We're bringing toys, and we did. And we have never missed a single rut for Rugrats, period, including in 2020 whenever COVID was a big deal.
Yeah.
And they told us, they said, you know, this COVID's going on. We're not allowed to have anybody at the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, cool. We're just going to come and drop the toys off, and then when we leave, y'all can come outside and pick them up. And we still did it. We were the only event that Children's of Mississippi allowed to happen that year was the Rut for Rugrats. Wow. So since then, it grew from about 30 people to last year where Cody and Andy participated in. We had well over 650 participants with about $220,000 worth of toys and donations to the hospital. I mean, we've got
it was nuts.
The Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association out there. We got the military out there with trucks. We've got Jeeping clubs. It's just we got, you know, running groups that, you know, they want to run, and we're like, no, we're walking. We're not running anything.
And it's all ages.
Yeah, all ages.
72-year-old parents to our, at the time, 6-year-old daughter
kinds.
did it. So,
yeah. And I mean, you can come out there with your dog, you know. And we started Veterans Memorial Stadium now because back then it wasn't there any people, so we would ruck to the hospital and then we'd have buses bring us back. Mm-hmm. But then we outgrew it so much, the logistics of having 5 or 6 buses. You know, fortunately at the time, Klein Tours was so generous to donate the buses, but they still had to drive back and forth to get everybody, so everybody's having to wait. So we're like, we got to figure something out, because if we want to continue to grow, we don't need to have to worry about this part of it. So that's why we started Veterans Memorial Stadium. We have a great partnership with Jackson State University, and we start there. We ruck around 4.5 miles, and when we're done at the hospital, we just walk right back across the parking lot. This year, we're going to have vendors out there. We'll have food trucks, live music. It's going to be a great time. Jump houses for the kids. Might have a Dunkin' booth that one of y'all can get in, you know. No. I feel like people would pay good money for some of us to get in a Dunkin' booth.
Yeah,
so.
they probably
pay good money.
Yeah,
it's me.
Hey, I do want to add that one of the nurses told us thought was pretty cool that the toys that we bring off of that one event makes up 90% of their gift bag that they use throughout the entire year, like for physical therapy, birthdays, Christmas, education, you know, projects, you know, stuff like that. 90%.
Wow.
From that one event.
What we do is we create an Amazon wish list based off of what the nurses, the child life specialists say that they need. Mm-hmm. And then they provide us 2 or 3 big ticket items. I'm talking like a couple $1,000 stuff that they just can't afford to purchase. Now, I know it's crazy saying a hospital can't, but they just don't get it, right? Mm-hmm. So what we do is we get everybody to bring these toys based off of this list. Even if you're not participating, you can still purchase the items and mail them to Fifth Squad, and we will carry them or carry them in our trailer or whatever. But then we take the profits and go buy some of those big ticket items. So we purchase TVs, we've purchased game consoles, iPads. I can't, you know, and I remember when I was deployed in 2018, I had a father contact Fifth Squad on Facebook saying, hey, I don't know who you guys are, but my son was in the hospital over this past couple weeks, and they gave us an iPad, and on the back of it, it said donated by Fifth Squad, and this helped him stay, you know, caught up with his homework and all this other kind of stuff. And so that I was like, man, look, I don't care if we don't ever get another message ever. That's the one. That's all I needed right
that's
there.
Awesome.
You know? So yeah. So, but also this year, since he didn't ruck last year because he was sick, that means he's got to
do it twice.
He's got to do the whole thing this year.
Oh, okay.
And you guys can ride in a golf cart.
That's what I wanted to do. I was gonna let them film and do the golf cart and all that. I actually wanted to.
Don't put me in no golf cart.
No, it's too much fun.
I'd do 8 miles if I had to.
Yeah, you want to do it.
It's
part of it.
I do.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want to hear your perspective.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start, really. But, I mean, I guess some background for me is military has always been close to home, I guess. My dad's retired Navy, 20-plus years. My brother is Air Force. They're both I've got 2 brothers that are law enforcement. So being around it is is very nice, and feels like I've got another way to give back, even though I'm not in law enforcement or anything like that. But to see, I don't even know how many people you had.
About 650 people.
That is insane.
Yeah.
It felt like thousands of people. But to see all of that stem from just an act of like showing good character throughout your organization, and to see all that come together after 9+ years is incredible. And like I said, I don't want to be in a golf cart. You know, I want to be in a position where I still get to help, whether that's filming or bringing stuff with you guys. But the 4.5 miles didn't feel like enough. Like, I feel like I could always do more for something like that. And we did get to stop, and after dropping off all the toys and their little side room and seeing the line come through, it felt endless. There was like 50 boxes full of stuff, and I saw y'all unload the trailer, and I was like, how is there even more to bring into this? And I know we had stopped quite close to that, I think at the other entrance, where you had them getting in the vehicle and checking everything out.
Yeah.
And there was a few instances there where I had to hold back some tears, because it's just like so surreal to see that happen in like
touch a truck.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah. It was really nice to see. I mean, it's not one particular group. It's you're helping everybody that's there, and you have no clue what they're feeling or what those families are going through. So just be able to play a part, even if I'm just filming and covering the event, but that gets you guys exposure to more people and hopefully a bigger event, and not necessarily recognition that you deserve, but to show, I mean, your character is bigger than anything, and growing from one quick reactions fun to 6 things now, and doing all that's incredible. So
yeah, you talk about the never-ending line. There's been multiple times where I've, if we've got something coming up and I'm trying to put together all these pictures, and I'm like, man, how do you choose from all these great photos? Whether it's I remember, I think there was a female police officer from Capitol Police that rucked in uniform. There's soldiers that are in uniform, or there's 12-year-old kids that are carrying toys. And I'm like, how do you choose which one of these is the perfect picture, to describe this event? And then like the touch a truck with some of the sick children coming downstairs, being able to get inside of a military vehicle. You could just see the light in their eyes about how excited it was. And then the soldiers that aren't even a part of Fifth Squad that just drove the trucks. That's the best thing, and especially, and this is coming from my perspective as a sergeant major still in the Army, seeing soldiers getting to do what they initially enlisted for. Like the Guard we're designed to serve our community. I mean, that's what we're here for. Yes, we're going to deploy overseas, things like that, but if it's an emergency like hurricane or tornadoes or anything like that, and for you to see those soldiers get more excited to just talk to this little kid for 20 or 30 minutes, that's the reason why a soldier will re-enlist for something like that right there.
Going off of that, I had the one thing that I did see, there was a guy out there with a child, and they were talking about the vehicle, and he showed him around and let him get in and everything, and after they were done, I think they were talking for a minute, and then he pulled off one of his patches and gave it to him, and I was like, that's so freaking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I know that kid's he's going to remember that forever.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
Tiffany talks about how she starts crying every year when we come
Can you
off
blame
of
her?
Riverside, right? You come off of Riverside and you turn right there by...
I'll do it right now, just talking about it. I'm telling you, I get chill bumps every
I don't remember the name
time.
of the road, but once you come across and you're crossing over Woodrow Wilson and you can see the Children's Mississippi Hospital, Sanderson Tower, it's a pretty cool feeling. Yeah,
It is.
Yeah. So I'm coming this year. I don't care what I got to do. Bump up my immune system or something around that
John
time.
can give a hell of an IV. I'm just going to let you know.
Yeah.
If you need an IV. John gave himself one after staying awake all night.
I don't know about that.
Drunk. So then we were all working an event. Side note, John is he's a Cav scout, so he's been in combat, been blown
Everybody's
up
going back
times.
in the podcast going, didn't they say this? Or vice president?
Hey,
Right.
hey,
Just got the experience.
We're just a couple of knuckleheads that are just trying to do the right thing, man. We don't know, but it's funny because we're all working an event, and I'm already mad at John because he didn't make it to the event because he stayed at the casino all night. Yeah. But he's posting pictures in our little chat of all around the house, in the shower, on the front porch, smoking a cigarette with an IV in his arm.
Hooked up to the IV.
That he gave himself because he drank too much the night before.
Cooking eggs one time.
Cooking eggs with an IV.
I mean,
Flipping eggs, he's scrambling eggs with the IV holding over. Yeah. He's but you know what? That's who we are, man. I mean, we're just normal guys and gals that just want to do something a little bit more. And you know, people volunteer to serve. That's one of the greatest things about our country is you volunteer to serve. But then these folks are volunteering to serve even more outside of the uniform. You know, so one of the programs is our Back to the Barracks program, where you guys have come just about every time we've had a night. But we have our, you know, we open up our headquarters, Bernie's, every other Thursday night. You know, free food, free drinks, music, cornhole, whatever, you know, and that's part of that camaraderie. That's part of that family. You come hang out, whether you are still serving or whether you've been out for 20 years, I assure you that a veteran comes and hangs out there, they're going to want to come hang out even more. It's just a fun environment. We always wanted our own bar. Now we just kind of have one, you know.
I think though that's something that, you know, it's worth mentioning because a lot of people, if they don't know who you are, like if they were outside looking in, I think a lot of people would go, wait a minute, you do this little thing where you give away free food and you got a bar and this, that, and that. They don't understand. One, is kind of why I brought it up is the majority of the people there are serving and is their families or they're, you know, retired military, whatever. So it helps them to have a safe, fun community to be around, right? Because we do know that there are a lot of veterans that are out there that are struggling with different things, whether it's, you know, mental health, depression, substance, you know, that sort of thing. They need that positive environment to be around. But I think it also is key to making your team stronger, to have those moments where they can hang out. They can, because then when you say, hey, I need you to show up.
That's right.
They show up in force.
Yeah.
And whether it is sharing stuff on social media, getting the name out there, or it's for Rugrats or whatever it is. And to me, I think that's been such a huge key to the success of what you're doing and how your name's getting spread out there, because everybody's starting to talk about it. The buzz is happening, that sort of thing. They're inviting people. But going back to John and talking about, you know, people and that sort of thing, when I first saw John, if y'all would have been in the lineup of everybody that helps you, and you said, Roddy, which one of those guys is the president? I probably would have thought it was either you or Tiffany. You know, I probably could have picked that out. But if you just said, who's the vice president? It would not have been John. It would not have been John. Not just like off the jump, right? Not just off the jump. And I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Just follow me. But kind of talking about that, you get to know John. You get to hang out with John. You get to see him. You know, he's not just a guy that wears his hat backwards all the time, right? With a beard. He's more than that. And then you learn, like, John's out there hustling.
Oh yeah. Like,
John's out there, you know, he's not afraid to tell people, like, hey, we're doing this, come to this, you know, come help support us, whatever. He's out there hustling. John's invited me to lunch with other veterans that he's been trying to get to join and introducing us to them. And it's really just neat to see what you just said. How these guys, it's not just the events where they're going to for Rugrats or whatever. They're doing this every day in community. It's their job. It's their new mission. And I think that's so important, man. It's so neat to see that. I think outside of a lot of other nonprofits, that thing, it's not just making you guys better. It's making you special. And I have fallen in love with that more than anything else that you do. Like, I'm super happy to be involved with everything else, but like to see that community and to see how everybody enjoys being around each other and they want to share that with everybody else because they know it's helping in multiple ways, and then to see how that's then turned into multiple programs for you to share, man, that's cool. It's cool.
I don't think any of the programs even exist if it's not for that community, that type of atmosphere. Because you nailed it. I mean, we do so much stuff outside of Fifth Squad related stuff. You know, I mean, we're going kayaking as a group, which you guys should go with us Memorial Day weekend if y'all don't have anything going on. But just things like that. I mean, we do things outside of a Fifth Squad label event because that's where you build that strength to whenever we need somebody to go do an event, you're like, hey, yeah, absolutely. I want it, because we're not just working. We're hanging out. We're having a good time, you know. I mean, it's even like at the back of the barracks, the veterans nights. I mean, you know, Tiffany works to start off the day, and then she's having to get all kind of stuff for the food ready, and if we have a special guest or anything, you know, we all get there early to set up and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, we're just hanging out, man. We're just having a good time, losing at cornhole to Steven and Steven, you know. I mean, other things like that, you know.
Yeah. So tell me, or I guess tell everybody that's listening about the different programs, like which one, basically what they are and what they do.
I'll tell a few. The B2B is back to the barracks, what we've just been speaking about. It's more about the camaraderie, bringing veterans together. Because apparently, listening to my husband and the rest of the veterans, some of their best memories were made in their barracks when they were serving. So, and we spoke on that already. We always have food. We either have a sponsor. If not, we'll have food, and we have drinks. We laugh. We play cornhole. Whatever sports game might be on the TV, we'll have it on the TVs. Every now and then we might have live music. Just depends. It's just a fun night just to sit around, hang out, and laugh. And then we also have our send-off operation, and that is Operation Send-Off. I knew that it come out right. So that is when units are deploying or coming back, but if they are deploying, we will set up in the hangar, and we'll have energy drinks or just other drinks for them, and then
what type of energy drinks do we have?
Ways, excuse me, not just any energy drinks, Ways energy drinks and snacks, and we just hang out with them while they're waiting hours to fly out, and then we'll also receive them when they come back from a deployment, and we'll welcome them back with snacks and Ways energy drinks.
Yeah, so we do that one because typically whenever we're deploying, it's not like you just go get on an airplane and you sit in your terminal and wait. We have to be there at dark 30, and then there'll be multiple chalks, which is multiple different flights. So this first one will be flying out at 8 o'clock. Well, they're already there at 4 o'clock because they've got to weigh their bags, they got to check in, all that kind of stuff, and then they sit around for 2 or 3 hours. And then the next one doesn't leave till 10 or 11 o'clock, just an estimation. So what we do is we get there early, and we show up the whole time. It was so funny. The last time we had a unit, which one of our prospects, who happens to be my nephew, he wasn't doing it, but their unit were going to D.C. for the inauguration. And they were coming through there getting donuts because it was MPs, and we bought a bunch of donuts. And I just really thought that was the funniest part of all of it.
That's great.
I literally, every time one of them cops picked up one of them donuts, I just laughed, man. Military police eating donuts, man. That's my favorite part.
Can't get away from that.
Right? So they were like, oh, man, the guard's never done anything like this for us before. And I was like, this ain't the guard. Like, you don't see that tablecloth. This is Fifth Squad. And then they start realizing, all our marketing and everything like that, and it just gets more and more out there. But then, part of that too is we support them while they're deployed too. So if they've got a servant, if they have a spouse that has some, they say, hey, my refrigerator went out. Do you have anybody that can help with that? They'll contact us, or we've lined up somebody getting their yard cut and all that kind of stuff up, before, and then we receive them when they come home, and we go to what's called a yellow ribbon event where we'll set up and where they're talking about their benefits and all that kind of thing like that. But that's one of our great. I love the Back to the Barracks, and like Tiffany said, that's because it's the stuff that happens when you're not shooting or you're not training, when you're sitting around talking and sitting on a tailgate laughing and carrying on. That's what creates the memory. There's so many times, if y'all have ever watched anything military related, they talk about how no one prepares you for when you take that uniform off, that what you're really going to miss.
Right.
Y'all have ever seen the movie Fury? Yeah. So remember when they're riding in the track and they just had this huge battle and so many people get killed, and they're like, best job I've ever had. That it's not because of what they're doing; it's because of the people that are in that track with them.
Right.
So that's why our Back to the Barracks program is so awesome. We have started this Echoes of Service podcast thanks to you guys at Merit Productions that are helping us do that. We have no idea what we're doing. We just have a bunch of idiots that can talk and can tell some funny jokes. And I do not envy Cody and Andy and you for having to go through all of that. But God bless you. So we're excited about that when it comes out. And our ultimate intent with that is to be able to bring in other veterans. Some go to the VA homes and get some of these guys to come sit around that are 70 or 80 years old and sit around with some younger veterans and just tell their story. Have that camaraderie that 50 years difference. That'd be pretty cool, right? Yeah. So we're excited about that. We also have a Pack to Purpose, which I mentioned AC before. He's real big into hiking, and we want to be able to do this Pack to Purpose where people can, veterans can go hiking. 4 to 5 people go hiking, veterans go hiking, and they unplug from everything. So you can only take what you can carry and do 3 or 4 days, 5 days on a trail, and just build on that camaraderie. Open up about things that you don't talk to anybody else about. Because you're opening up with people that actually understand. People that have served, they have deployed, they have seen things, they have done things that they may or may not be proud of.
His story is very powerful too, and hiking is what helped him get through all of everything he was battling. And it's a very powerful. It's a good story. So
what else we got? Oh, our Ready, Play, Give.
Yeah,
I'm pretty pumped
about that. I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah, so everything we have has an acronym because the military we love some acronyms. So Ready, Play, Give. If y'all have ever played online games, RPG, right? So that's what that's that program. And so Daniel Truitt, he's one of our prospects, but he's a veteran himself, and he come up with it with his brother JP, and they do online gaming. I mean, they do it on the. I think he's like Spectrum. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 46 years old, man. And for about 2 more weeks, I don't understand all that kind of stuff. I could play the hell out of some Tecmo Bowl or some Madden or even some Tetris. Yeah. But, no, we just had a tournament where they played a Call of Duty tournament all day. And so they do fundraising through that. And as that's the way it is now. I mean, I played video games in Afghanistan in 2002. I get it. We that's something that we all can do and we can all relate to, and a lot of veterans do that, especially the online gaming is so much bigger now, and so that's one of our programs that is building. We've got a Fortnite tournament coming up. I think I can't remember what the date was. It'll be on our social media and on our website soon, but it's just that basically what we're doing is we started with our QRF. We just wanted to help you with that initial Band-Aid right in the very beginning, and now we're trying to help you all the way through it. We have resources on our website to where if we pay this utility bill or this rent, here's some other organizations, here's some other programs, anything from financial training to help you to where you don't get in this situation again, or some counseling or whatever else that can help you, right? And then we've got all these other partners that can help you with so many different parts of it. And then we've got these other programs because we don't want to just do that Band-Aid anymore. We want to help you from start to finish so that a year from now, 2 years from now, you're not having to worry about this anymore. You're not having to ask for help anymore.
Right.
You're on your own and you're self-sufficient, and that's the way we want it.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's the thing that most people forget about. Like you're a normal everyday guy out in traffic. You're a normal everyday guy going to the grocery store, going to a restaurant, whatever. Right. People don't realize. And I've had this story. I've had this conversation with many people before. It's like, I'll be 43 this year, and I was like, I know that the guys that are my age, a lot of them, they don't know another life. They don't know another life. So you can't just expect them to, like, when they're done, let me just jump out here and be a normal dude. They haven't been doing that, right? And that's one of the things that, hanging out with you guys is realizing I tell people this all the time. It's like, these guys go through and they tell me these stories of, getting shot at or stuff blowing up or whatever. Y'all talk about it like I talk about going to, the bowling alley or whatever, going to the movie. I went and saw this movie the other day. You guys are like, oh yeah, I got shot at by a sniper the other day. And
are you at the movie theater in Jackson or are you
no, that's what I'm saying. And I was just like, I'm like, that's people. If you don't go hang out with a veteran and hear that conversation and see how that's normal to you, right? Because
I'm not a fan of getting shot at.
No, but the way they tell the story, it's just like, oh, we were doing this the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's the thing is, so many people don't understand that transition is way harder than you think it is, and for you guys to be doing what you're doing and And it's not just, like you said, it's not just that debt Band-Aid where you just throwing money at somebody to help them out. It's giving them opportunity to hang out with their buddies. It's giving them a way to go unplug and clear their head a little bit. It's giving them something to, give back to the community. It's just creating that camaraderie amongst the other things that you're able to do. And I think that probably we should do a better job of trying to show that a little bit more since we're helping you. But I think it's good that you have all that fresh stuff. And kind of last thing I want to touch on before we finish is this is all internal stuff. Like, no, y'all don't have any kind of like higher up or anybody that's coming through saying you should do this and you should do that and teaching and training. You guys that are in the group are coming up with these programs, putting them together, making them real, making them reality, organizing them the whole 9 yards. And I think that is, in my opinion, how it all spawns from the you have the community group and the camaraderie, and that turns into guys hanging out and talking, hey, we should do this. And then it's not just that's the end of the conversation. It turns into something that can continue to help. And I think that is really, at the core of everything that you're doing. I think that, in my opinion, for me, that is the most rewarding part about helping you guys out and being a part of what you're doing.
Absolutely. And we appreciate it. I'm going to tell you, y'all been together for 10 years, I think. And then how long y'all said y'all been doing with Merit Productions?
No, I started in 2019.
I got you. Okay. So one of the things that I have learned, and
so right at 7 years.
One of the things I've learned about Fifth Squad, or whether it be my military career or being a husband or a father, is that like nothing that's ever worth anything comes easy, right? So yeah, Fifth Squad has grown tremendously, but man, let me tell you, it's been a lot of hard work. I mean, it's been a lot of hours, a lot of times where I just wanted to just take a day off,
Especially my husband being my boss too, in the same sense.
Yeah,
Imagine how that
yeah. And I don't take days off, and that's okay. Mike tells me all the time that I can't have the same expectation that I have. I can't have the same expectation for other people that I have for myself, and that's fine. But what I've learned is that nothing in life comes easy, right? That's worth anything. So if you want to be a good husband, if you want to be a good friend, if you want to be a good father or a good boss or an employee, you got to work. And sometimes it takes more than that. And that's what Fifth Squad board members understand. They understand that, yes, I have a job. Yes, I have children. Yes, they've got ball practice. Yes, I've got to spend some time with my spouse. I've got a million different things that are pulling from me. But if everybody on the planet has that, right? But you can still give a little bit more, Like, what are you doing for the rest of the people out there? Because there's people out there that are not as blessed as we are. Whether we've been given things or we've had to work for it. That's what creates a better community across the board, is when you help somebody else knowing that you may or may not get anything in return. And that was the same thing with you guys. Y'all helped us, not knowing whether or not you would get anything in return. You just knew that you wanted to take a chance to help somebody else. And that's exactly how we feel. People don't have to pay us to put stuff on our website or us to share them. We want to help you, And we feel like that, hey, if you're doing the right thing, you're helping somebody else, it's going to help you in return.
Yeah. So tell everybody, if they want to know more about you or how to support you or be involved what you're doing, how they do that.
Contact Roddy Merritt. He'll tell you everything.
No, don't contact me. That's how you fumble the ball.
No, Tiffany, you tell us, because I know they'd rather hear your voice to end it than mine.
Through our website, which is fifthsquad.org, O-R-G. You can contact us through there if you have any general questions, if you'd like to become a donor, or if a veteran's in need, you can contact us through there. Or our social medias. Yeah. Also, we have Facebook and Instagram,
TikTok, YouTube. Is it X or Twitter? I don't know. We got several things.
One of the things.
We're trying to do it all. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other shout outs before we go?
Yes. Obviously, we could go down the list. I mean, one of our biggest is Milwaukee Tool. If we, one of the things I always say, that if Milwaukee Tool believes in what you're doing, and they're one of the most popular names in the world, then obviously you must be doing the right thing. But obviously you guys with Merit Productions and what y'all do for us, Waze Energy, who made the introduction, Keesler Federal Credit Union. Gosh, I could go on and on and on. But one of the best things about our website is you can shop with all of our partners on our website. So, yeah.
Cool.
Look at that. What a nice little plug right there.
Right.
Well, thank you guys again for coming. We love what y'all
you.
are doing. We love being your friends, and that, you guys are so welcoming, accepting of us, and I think we've had a good time, and I hope we continue to do that and make some magic happen. So
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Back to magic happening on that microphone.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Bye.